My name is Lyndsey Pachon. I'm a real estate broker and co-owner of Fall River Property Management. Our company specializes in managing C-class multifamily properties in the Fall River and New Bedford, Massachusetts area. Today, I'm going to talk to you about rental deposits. While this might seem like a basic issue, it's actually one that has some real financial and strategic implications. In many rental markets, tenants are expected to come up with 3 months worth of rent up front, first, last, and security. That's a lot of cash. In our market, where many tenants are qualified, but also stretched very thin, some landlords decide to make their unit more marketable by asking for just one deposit. But before you can make that decision, let's break down what's really at play here. The two types of deposits that landlords can collect in Massachusetts are last month's rent and security. As a landlord, you need to decide what deposits you'll require your tenant to pay before you list your apartment. So, what's the difference between last and security? A security deposit is basically like an insurance policy. It's 1 month's rent held in escrow in case your tenant decides to redecorate by punching holes in every wall. You can't use it for normal wear and tear like scuffed stairs or faded paint or that weird smell that never quite goes away, but you can use it for real damage, like a bathtub full of cement. Meanwhile, last month's rent deposit is exactly what it sounds like. It's the rent for your tenant's final month in the apartment. Simple, right? But here's the catch. You can't use it for anything other than rent. If the tenant moves out and takes your oven with them and leaves the walls looking like the aftermath of a WWE match, that last month's rent isn't going to help you. You'll be stuck paying for the repairs. And you might even end up with a hole in your heart. Now, I'll be honest. Fall River Property Management used to only collect last month's rent, but not a security deposit. At some point early in my career, a more experienced property manager convinced me that last month's rent was better for landlords purely based on the numbers. Why? Because last month's rent is money in the bank. A security deposit, however, might end up being returned to the tenant, unless they do some serious damage, of course. I understand that strategy. I really do. But over time, I've had a change of heart. Why? Because here's the thing. While last month's rent might sound like an easy win, it doesn't cover the full spectrum of potential issues. The security deposit, on the other hand, can be used for damage or unpaid rent. In my experience, tenants are much less likely to cause significant damage if they know they've got that security deposit in place. They'll think twice about the bathtub full of cement. Of course, when it comes to deposits, more is more. So when you keep more deposits on file, there's more insurance for the landlord. But in a market where many tenants live paycheck to paycheck, Fall River Property Management recommends collecting security deposits. Please remember that with any type of deposit, it's important that you follow the laws in your state for documentation and security deposit banking. Thank you so much for listening today, and I hope you have a beautiful day.